Hello, random people on the internet. My name is Banana, and the Traveling Zoo event just came out, and we have a little bit of an insight into every single pet in the game now. I have a list. This is like the leaked list, so some of these pets aren't out, but these were all leaked at the beginning of the update, so I'll just leave some of them out if we don't know what they are. But we're just going to do a tier list, just like the good old days, a menacing banana tier list. So to start off, we have the Lion Pet. Now, the Lion Pet did just come out with the Traveling Zoo event, and it has perks like doing more damage to mobs that are under level 80, adding flat damage to your sword, and I forget the last one, but I know that this is a pretty good pet. It has 50 strength, 25 speed. It's one of the better pets, but I wouldn't put it in S tier. I want to put it in A tier just because it is a little bit worse than Pigman, in my opinion, and the perk where you have to get damage to like lower level mobs isn't that useful compared to something like Pigman where it's against higher level mobs where you need the damage. Alright, so next up we have Ocelot. And Ocelot is definitely in one of the top two tiers here because this gives foraging XP boost. Just because the legendary perk isn't that good, like this minion or this pet pretty much only has one perk. It has its foraging XP boost. The minion boost isn't that good, and the other perk, the dodge, isn't that good, but the foraging XP boost alone puts it up here because grinding foraging takes a while, and the minion is just going to help that. So next we have the Wolf Pet. The Wolf Pet has a combat boost, and it also has a boost to crit damage and a boost to defense on wolves. This is definitely S tier in my opinion because the combat boost is insane. Grinding combat is the most necessary thing in the game, and the Wolf Pet is the pinnacle of grinding that. So next is the Cave Spider Pet or something, which isn't out yet, but it was leaked, so I'm just going to leave her there. And then we have the Blue Whale. The Blue Whale is a tanky pet. So that alone, I think we'll put it in B tier. Just because it's based on tank. But this is a really good pet, nonetheless. Until dungeons and stuff, like come dungeons, I'll bet that we put it up here. Maybe even up here. But before dungeons, right now in the meta, tank is not useful. So buying this pet is just an investment into the future. Which honestly could be good. So next we have the Giraffe Pet, which isn't out yet, or it should have came out with the Traveling Zoo, but they only released 3 pets at a time, it looks like, in the Traveling Zoo. So we aren't going to know what the giraffe is until then. So the next one actually is the Phoenix Pet. Phoenix Pet is so rare, and yet so, I don't know, A tier maybe? It's not S. It's not S because the perks on this, Eternal Coins is really good, where you are not going to lose coins when you die. But the cost of this is insane. I could put it up here. If there was an option to put it in the middle of A and S, I would. Because the Phoenix Pet, I don't think is worth all the hype that everyone's putting towards it, because everyone really wants this Phoenix Pet. But it's really not too great, but I'm going to leave it in A for now. We might change it. Next, we have the B Pet. B Pet goes in B tier, not just because it's a B, but because although it can be really good, if you have 15 people running this B, you are getting 225 strength at max level. It's just a weird pet. I don't really quite understand what they're aiming for with it, but it exists, It's like, it's not that great, but it's not terrible. So next up we have the Magma Cube Pet. And the Magma Cube Pet is probably the worst pet in the game. Its perks are terrible. It's just really not good. It's not a good pet. Like, the Ember Armor buff is just not good enough at all for anything. Because you don't really ever use Ember Armor, and Ember Armor just has really low stats to begin with. So that's a D tier. First D tier right there. Flying Fish. This pet is really underwhelming for where you get it. You get it from the Sea Emperor. Gives like increased lure time and increased stats to diver armor and stuff. It's just not that great of a pet compared to some of the other like fishing pets. The blue whale, the squid even, which we'll get to in a minute, are just way better than the flying fish, and that's sort of disappointing. So next we have the uh, sheep pet. The sheep pet is really useful for mana. It makes everything cost less. It's like having wise armor on you, but until dungeons, I'd say we put it in at like C tier because you don't ever use mana currently. We'll see where it goes in dungeons, but it is definitely not top of the line right now. So next we have the Squid Pet. Squid Pet is at least, like, this is the best fishing pet. So this one can make fishing go from very, like, from profitable, because fishing is already profitable, to like very profitable with its amount of ink sacs that it gives. And it can honestly make ink wand sort of useful, but that doesn't really matter. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier for now because it is the best fishing pet that you can get, and you really can't pass that up. So next we have the Parrot, and I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna put the Parrot in S tier. Its repeat perk is so insane. I made a video about the Parrot Pet, like last night, and the repeat perk just makes the Parrot so good that I feel like everyone should have a Parrot, and they're really not that expensive. You should really just grab a Parrot and whip it on anytime you go for a splash, anytime you drink potions, because it's gonna make your grind time like 40% longer. You're gonna have literally just 40% extra potion time for free, and that just makes the Parrot so good. And its other perks aren't even that bad. Like, adding to the Intimidation Talisman allows you to just sort of vibe in the end without caring, and then the Strength from the Legendary one is actually really good. So, the Tiger. The Tiger, in the event we have seen, is going to be pretty good. We don't know the exact perks on it, but based on its first perk, based on its stats, it's at least A tier. I would assume S tier, honestly, but I can't put it up there based on assumptions. It is going to be very good because it has a passive where it can double hit, or it gives everything a chance to double hit, and that just makes this pet insane. Like, it's going to be a good pet, but we just don't know the full extent of how good it's going to be. Next, we have the Turtle. I'd put the Turtle in the same tier as the Blue Whale because the Turtle is, once again, another tank pet. I wouldn't ever buy the Turtle if it is not legendary. Like, if you buy an epic Turtle, I'm sorry, but you're stupid, because its perk Unflippable, where it makes you immune to knockback, is actually really good. You can get the Slime Hat glitch without having to do the Slime Hat glitch, and that's really solid just to have. And I mean, it's a very good tank pet, but tank is not useful yet, so we're just going to leave it there. The Chicken Pet. Now, I used to think Chicken Pet was nuts. Chicken Pet was really good for AFK farms, but with Hypixel just removing every single AFK egg farm, I have to put the Chicken Pet in B tier. It's like, you have to be on your island for this to be effective, and you have to be killing chickens. Otherwise, this pet is completely useless, and it's just not good. Like, straight up. Next up, we have the Wither Skeleton. I think the Wither Skeleton is a really, really bad pet. It has, like, every stat in the game, but it has, like, none of them, and all of its perks are really bad. So unless we have some insane Wither boss that comes out where it kills everyone, this pet will never be useful. Like, until there is a Wither boss, it's not going to be useful. And then it has a perk of, like, its legendary is dropping extra coal. What? Why, Hypixel? Why? I just don't get it. So, next up we have the Silverfish Pet. And okay, so the Silverfish Pet gains true defense, it gives you mining XP, and it gives permanent haste. Now, just because of its XP, I want to put it in B, but know that this pet is a very, very tight B. It should be in C, but the mining XP keeps it up in B for me right now. So next up, we got the rabbit pet. It adds like speed to all rabbit pots and stuff, and it doesn't really matter. It gives farming XP. It's at least B tier. I might even hesitate to put it in A tier, but actually, we're going to put it in A tier. The rabbit pet's really good just because of the insane amounts of like farming XP you can get with it. So next, we are getting to some of the big boy pets. We have the Pigman Pet. Pigman Pet, before this video, I'd put it in S tier, no question. Right now, I still might put it in S tier because the Pigman Pet is a really, really good pet. This pet basically increases your damage against mobs over level 100 by 20% at max level, or 25%, I think. And it used to give 100 strength. Now it gives 50 strength, 50 defense. And people are like, wow, that is just some huge nerf. And it is a massive nerf to it, but it's actually sort of useful because if you're hitting mobs over level 100, they're probably hitting you back. So that defense isn't that bad. And I mean, 50 strength is nothing to scoff at. Like, the Pigman Pet and the Lion Pet are pretty much just the same thing. They are the just like two sides of the same coin. One side is higher level mobs, which is the Pigman, and one side's lower level mobs, which is the Lion. So that's why I say that the Lion is a little worse, because it's purely based on lower level mobs. And the Pigman is just that good against Slayer bosses and everything. It makes you just destroy them. And without the 50 strength, it's struggling a little bit more, but I still am going to put it in S tier because it's just pretty insane. Next, we have the Enderman Pet. And remember, this is based on Legendary, and this is a very good Legendary Pet because of its insane ability to give summoning eyes. It gives a lot of summoning eyes whenever you get to like higher levels, and it's definitely worth going for this Enderman Pet, but it is a pretty insane farm if you're trying to grind her out. Okay, so next up we have the Guardian Pet. Guardian Pet gives enchanting XP, which is nice because, I mean, skill XP is always good, so it's going to be in one of A or B here. I want to put it in A. This is another one where it's like it could go either way. I think its perks are good enough to where it goes in A tier. The Guardian Pet's pretty sick like that, and yeah, it's a pretty cool pet. I definitely think that people should get the Guardian Pet, but I'm gonna put it in B actually. Enchanting isn't that good. I don't like enchanting. Next up, we have the Ender Dragon Pet. That's like super S tier. I need to make another tier just for the Ender Dragon Pet. The Ender Dragon Pet, if you don't know, the legendary version gives a 10% increase to your stats at level 100, and that's every single stat. That's luck. That is just everything, and that is crazy. That is an insane pet when it comes to getting that sort of XP and stuff. Like, you can't pass up on the Ender Dragon Pet. It is the hardest pet to get in the game, other than the Phoenix probably, and there's a good reason for it. It's an insane pet that makes Aspect of the Dragons better than Midas, and just like so many things make the Ender Dragon Pet good, and there's a reason that it is the best pet in the game. Okay, so before I add a couple more to this list that I realized I forgot, we have the Bat Pet. Bat Pet is good for getting the skeleton horse, but nothing more. So I'm going to put it in B tier for now, just because that makes sense to me. It is a pretty good pet when it comes to getting the skeleton horse, getting money, but if you're not using this during the spooky event, it's a pretty useless pet. It could even be in C tier. Yeah, I'm putting it down there. It's really niche. It's like, you don't need it. So I actually have to go and get a couple more pets because I forgot the snowman and the skeleton and another horse. Alright, we're back with the last three, technically four pets, and we have first off the normal horse / skeleton horse. This pet, I was hoping it'd be somewhere up here, but it's really not that great It's just rideable. That's the one benefit of it. And right now there is no benefit to riding other than pulling back your bow faster. So the perks on it aren't good enough to justify putting it anywhere above C. But the rideable part is really good. Next we have the Snowman Pet. Snowman Pet is actually really good for damage. Like, this thing sort of could go up here in S just because of its damage. And I honestly might do it. It has very good base stats. Its perks aren't amazing, but its base stats are fantastic to have on anything. I understand why the Snowman Pet sells for so much. It could be up here, could be down here. It's either or. It's like very tight that I'm putting it up here, but it's definitely going up there for now. And then last but not least, we have the Jerry Pet. Obviously S tier. No, the Jerry Pet's D tier. If you guys haven't seen, Jerry Pet has the perk Jerry, and then the perk Jerry, and then the perk Jerry. It's just 3 perks that are useless, but that's just because Jerry is a joke pet. Don't go for the Jerry Pet Legendary, please. It's a waste of money and time. Alright, while I was exporting the video, I realized I forgot the Blaze Pet. So, Blaze Pet costs a stack of enchanted blaze rods, and that is very expensive. Just so expensive that the pet has to be S tier, right? Nah, this pet is very underwhelming. All of its perks are sort of trash, and I mean, even if you get the legendary one, it's like, you just spent like 20 million coins doing that because blaze rods are that expensive. Why would it cost a stack of enchanted blaze rods, Hypixel? That's so expensive. That's just way too expensive for a pet that isn't as good as it is. I'm putting it in C tier. Don't go for Blaze Pet. It's not even that good. But I think that's going to be it for this list currently. I think that this is pretty accurate. Most of these pets are pretty good in a sense. And I mean, the tiger is the one pet that I feel can definitely go from here to here without any question in my mind. We just don't know the full extent of the tiger. Like, I could just leave the tiger down here just because we have no idea what it is. Like, we know the blue whale stats, but we have not heard anything about tiger as a whole. So that's why I put blue whale there, and I'm not confident about the tiger as a whole. But hopefully the next event has different legendaries. Like, we can see the giraffe pet, we can see the tiger pet, we can see the blue whale, all at their peak form rather than just the lion. Lion is really good, but I don't know if it's even worth the 16 million coins that you have to pay for it, considering Pigman Pet is just as good, if not better. So that is going to be all for the tier list video. I hope you guys enjoyed, because I like making these tier list videos. I only made one in the past, but you know, we had to make one now that we know all of the pets in the game. So if you did enjoy, please smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Maybe even subscribe. We're at over 11,000 subs. Thank you guys so much for that. And that is all for this one. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.